Morning, beautiful people. Welcome to the market call for today, the 8th of June 2026. We're excited to have each and every one of you right here joining us in today's market call. My name is CJ, and together with me, we have Lekman, Cynthia, Demola, and Abby, who are all going to be taking turns in showing you various perspectives on the market. We're going to be showing you our top-down analysis, our thoughts, our trade calls for the day and for the week, as we resume a fresh new week in the second week of June. So whether you're watching us from Lagos, London, New York, this is the market call. I want you to sit tight, grab your tools, grab your writing materials so that you can take notes of possible trades that we're taking today, and then keep your eyes peeled out for other opportunities we're going to be sharing on today's live market call. Let's head straight into the chart as we begin, starting off with the analysis of gold against the dollar. Now, if you're looking at gold against the dollar on the daily time frame, you can see that it's kind of reflective of the events that has been unfolding from the week all the way till today. Now, last week, we closed off last week with the news on NFP, and then how that we're expecting from the Iranian side of the geopolitical conflict we've had in the last couple of days. Everything has just been giving us clear indication, because we had a stronger dollar in the last week, because we saw that jobs were getting, there were more jobs during the last week's NFP news release, and that indicated the strong economy in the US and a stronger dollar. Right now, we're expecting that to continue. However, we saw that there was some threats and some instigations from the geopolitical conflict between US, Israel, and Iran. Right now, we're seeing that gold continued selling off this week. Although on other currency pairs, which we're going to be looking at shortly, there was a bit of a confusion as the week began. But right now, let's focus on gold. If you're looking at gold right here, you can see that gold has sold way so much. We're suspecting a possible retracement at this time before a continuation to the downside. So if a retracement is going to happen, then we should be looking at other blocks and fair value gaps as possible retracement points for us to target. Now, if you look at the 1 hour time frame, you can see that this is a very solid point where gold could return to, citing all the previous supports that were listed that are residing around here. So this is going to be a very strong point to see gold return to, but that is if we're going to have a deep retracement. If we're not going to have a deep retracement, then we might see gold just retrace to this level here and then sell off afterwards. So these are the two places I'm expecting gold to get to before selling off: here first and then here next. So if it gives us a strong retracement, we'll see it all the way here. If not, we'll just see a retracement here and then sell off. So my bias for gold today is a sell, and then when it sells into my point of interest, I'll be looking for a possible place to sell off from. The overall bias is a sell. However, like I said, we'll be looking for a quick buy and then a sell off. So we're looking for buys into either of these regions around here and selling good. And then the final place is somewhere around here. Okay, although this is looking far-fetched down, but then if you see any retracement that is so strong that takes price all the way here, then we're going to be looking at this point of interest because there's quite a lot around there. So this is what we're expecting to play out on gold this morning. So we're expecting a buy, and the intention of the buy is to buy into discount and then sell up afterwards. If I see price breaking this high here, I know it's buying all the way here, so I'll join the buy it all the way here. But if I see it struggling to break there and then it settles for this region here and gives me entry signature for a sell, I'll be selling it off from here. This is what I'm looking out for on gold this morning. Now, if we look at the yen basket, on the yen basket, we are looking at a possible retracement on the yen because you can see how far it has sold since the last set of interventions. We're looking at seeing the yen basket buy back into maybe one of these regions right here. We're seeing something like this. We're also seeing these regions here. So we're seeing either of these, and we want to see what the yen basket is going to do at this time. It might come all the way here to sweep out this liquidity, or it might just settle for this region here and then sell off afterwards. So the yen basket is looking like it's going to experience some strong retracement, seeing how price has been moving in the last couple of days. So on the yen pairs, we might see a strong sell that is going to indicate a strong retracement. If you start off on GBP JPY, you can see that the retracement looked to have started, not concluded yet, but then you can see that retracement looked to have started, and we'll be looking out for possible liquidity regions that price is going to take out. So this is one. We might be seeing GBP JPY take out these lows all the way here before the buy continues. And one of the places I'm looking at GBP JPY settling for is this order block right here, the bullish order block. So I'm looking to see GBP sell off into this region here, and then I'll be taking my buy. So for GBP today, I'm looking at a sell-off, and then we'll be taking a buy to the downside. You can see that price is gearing up for that already. You can see that there's been a break of structure on the 15 minutes time frame. Right now, we're just looking at this give from here. More on GPGP. Although the target is right here, but then because we know how funny this space can be, we just target 1 to 3 and out of the market. Okay. So for Euro JPY as well, we're expecting similar sell setup on Euro JPY. Once we see a sell signature, we'll be taking a sell on Euro JPY and we'll be riding it all the way to the downside. What I want to see on Euro JPY is an evening star pattern. Sorry, a morning star pattern. Once I see a morning star pattern show up on Euro JPY, I'll be selling just like we have here already, looking like it's forming that. We need the candle to close here on the 15 minutes time frame. We need it to close below this level here. Once we see Euro JPY closing below this level here, right here, then we're taking our sell and we're riding Euro JPY. Our possible targets for Euro JPY on the daily time frame, it didn't give us any much clarity. All right, so you can see that thing I was talking about. Euro JPY is already sweeping all the liquidity around here. So it could sweep all the liquidity all the way to this region here before it resumes the sell. Before it resumes the buy, rather. So Euro JPY could be selling all the way here, grabbing all the liquidities along the way. So this is the possible target. So we'll be looking for continuous sales on Euro to gold, we're expecting it back and then the sell afterwards. Right away, we're going to be looking at our analysis on US dollar, and then we're going to be looking at US dollar currencies like GBP and Euro USD. Because further on that, we have Cynthia who's going to be sharing her bias and analysis on the dollar related bet. Good morning.
Good morning, CJ. That was wonderful analysis from your own end. So I'll just run us through the analysis for this week. I believe I can be heard. So, well, we were bullish on dollar last week, and you saw how price actually broke out of the range. So we're looking out for price to retrace right back into this left shoulder, 107.490, for us to sell the XY to the downside. And on daily time frame, of course, we know that price is reacting off this left shoulder for a buy, 97.912. Right. So after establishing this, all we're looking out for moving forward should be entries, right? On the 15-minute time frame, let's see what price has for us on the 15-minute time frame. If you can spot any entry at hand. Well, there is none yet on the XY for the entry of the buy, but let's go to GBP USD and see what price has done. If you remember analysis last week, we actually said that we're looking out for sell opportunities, and of course, starting off from the weekly time frame, we're looking out for price to tap into this level for a long time now. We want to see price tapping into 1.24683, coming down to the daily time frame. On daily time frame, of course, price tapped into this left shoulder, residing at 1.35526, even traded above before reacting to the downside and speculating that price will most likely clear the low right at this region. I'm looking out for price to clear the low right here at 1.30106. Right. So all we're looking out for is entries, and on the 1 hour time frame, I'm looking to enter the sell of GBP USD once price retraces into this left shoulder right here. Right, so many confluences, the fair value gap, the left shoulder residing at this level, 1.34558. Once price gets there, I want to short GBP USD. I'm looking out for short opportunities. Beg your pardon, mistake. So I'm looking out for short opportunities on GBP USD, just as I stated. So once price retraces into this level, just as I mentioned again, I'm just reiterating, once price trades into 1.34558, I want to short GBP USD. Let's head to Euro USD to see what the market has for us on the weekly time frame. We still want to sell all the way to 1.106747, and on the daily time frame, price is still reacting off this left shoulder at 1.17953. Tapped into it, and we're seeing the push to the downside. My first point of taking profit will be at the low at 1.13878, right? So on the 4 hour time frame, we're seeing that price is even more bearish. So all we're looking out for is entries. We're not confused about direction, entries. According to the box pattern strategy, I haven't seen any entry forming on 1 hour time frame for Euro USD. And on the 15 minutes time frame also, there is no entry yet based on our box pattern. But we will keep our eyes glued to the chart. And once that forms, we will be more than happy to take the sell of Euro USD. With that being said, there's no high impact news for today. With that being said, I've come to the end of my own session, and we're heading straight to synthetic indices. Well, Lakon made a call on VIX 75, and I was right on time to take that trade. Although I exited on Monday and I re-entered on Wednesday, and it's been doing so well. So I'm looking forward to his analysis on the synthetics market. Lakon, what are you seeing in the synthetics market today and this week?
Good morning, Cynthia. Thank you very much. That was a great analysis. And at the same time, remember to send your tithe. Okay. All right. So let's go straight into the market. What do we have going on in the synthetic market this morning? We have, in the course of the weekend, the market has been a favorable one all through in the course of the weekend. And right now, we are already seeing some move in the market as the beginning of the week is unfolding right now. Okay, so for the synthetic market, for starting with V75 itself, remember, we took our buy right from this low, and that was as a result of we seen an entry on our 1 hour last week, Monday. And our target was 1:3, of which we, came out of the trade sometimes on Monday or Tuesday self, but see how long market really pushed. But remember, one of the qualities of a profitable trader is your ability to stick to your trading plan. Meaning, if you do 1:3, if that is your trading plan, then you are good to go. You don't need to feel bad and just wait for any signature again to come up and you join all over again. All right, so on the daily time frame, if you look at it, you're going to see that price is aiming all the way for this order block here. And right now, where we have what we have showing out, remember this particular move that we have some months ago, which is this strong consolidation, of which you see price break out of it to the downside, came back for a retest, then now pushing all the way back up. So all I'm trying to see in the course of this move is I want to see price to trace all the way to the last formed order block on the daily time frame, which is what is being highlighted here. When price tapped into it, then we can now begin to look out for opportunity to short again. So let's go to the 4 hour time frame to see what exactly is playing out on the 4 hour time frame. Now, for the 4 hour time frame, you are going to see that we have a clear bust pattern, showed up here. So this is the sweep, and we've seen the break of liquidity. However, we have inducement resting somewhere at the top here, while at the same time our shoulder is here. So trying to sell somewhere here is a low probability trade until we see a proper market structure shift there. If not, then it's just like one trying to gamble. All right, and just let's wait and be patient enough to see what price gives to us. However, I'm still of the opinion that when price come all the way to this zone, then this is going to be a good place to short V75 from, okay, with our stop loss just at the top there. So this is going to be a good place to short V75 from, and as a matter of fact, I would want to short from this level when price takes out this inducement here. Then we start shorting all the way to the downside. And now what will be our target? Is just 1:3 again. However, on the daily time frame, remember the low still remains somewhere here. But for me, if price react from this level, then it's coming to take out all this low, right? But just stick to your trading plan, your 1:3 or even 1:2, if that's what you do. Okay, now this is it, the shoulder playing out there. Let's wait and see what price does there. But on the 1 hour time frame, let's look at it. If there's any for 1 hour, I've not seen any entry signature for the sell at all. As a matter of fact, more of a presumption that when price gets to this 1 hour order block and we see any form of entry signature, then we can push all the way and buy it to our sell zone. All right, so this is going to be it for me for V75. Now for V75 1S, if you look at it from the daily time frame, V75 1S2 has been buying aggressively, even though we see our POI that is being marked here and price has not really come and tap into it. You see it there. So price has not really come to tap into that our POI. However, I'm of the opinion that we should still see the last leg of 751S into this daily order block. When price gets into the daily order block, then we'll begin to go to our lower time frame to go and look out for our entry model and opportunity for us to follow through. And on that one daily order block, I'm seeing a reference point, which is this fair value gap. So if you want to short, we'll be shorting somewhere from this region here for V751S, and we are going to be waiting for price to start into this fair value gap, and we follow it all the way to the downside, giving us our 1:3. All right, even though we still have much level to clear here, so if you can just have two positions, exit one at 1:3, and allow the order run all the way into this buy zone. Immediately it gets here, offload and look for entry to follow back to the upside. So that is for VIS-75-1S. And lastly, for VIS-15, if you look at VIS-15-1S, you're going to see that price has been bearish, but at some point you see market structure shift to the upside. Now, after the market structure shift to the upside, you're going to see that we have an inducement somewhere here. I know someone would think this is a double bottom, but it's not. This is just a shift, a sweep of liquidity for this particular level here, right? So this is a sweep of liquidity at this point here. You can see there is a sweep of liquidity, right? And price broke structure, pull back all the way to discount, then we see this push to the upside. Now, there's something I'm looking out to see around this zone, of which we already have our market structure shift. You can see price come to trade into this reference point, which is the AVG there. And if you look at the 4-hour time frame, we've seen a clear market structure shift playing out clearly here, which is this low being taken out already, right? And since the low has been taken out, I'm of the opinion that we wait for price to retrace into the shoulder level, which is here, and we can begin to short this 15-1S2. Okay, so our SL is going to be somewhere here, and we are going to have our SL here and our entry at this shoulder, even though we also have an inducement here that needs to be taken out. The moment it's taken out, then we begin to, sell this 15-1S. And where are we selling it all the way to? We are doing our 1:3 to this other block, even though there is also an re-entry again on the 4-hour, which is price taking out this liquidity point. When price taps into that level and it sold all the way to take out this liquidity point, there's high tendency we begin to see another buy setup forming around this zone again, just at this order block here. So this is going to be another zone we need to be very careful with, all right, if we are selling. So when price get to this zone, we should be careful for us to exit and watch out for a new entry. All right, so this is it for this is it for VIS-75, VIS-75-1S, and VIS-15-1S. All right, so if there is any question, this is going to be the end of this particular session for the synthetic. Right now, we're going into the indices market for us to see what are the opportunities there. Remember, the synthetic market opens 247, and we have classes that will train you how to trade the market profitably. So let's quickly get to the indices market to take opportunities on those ones too, and the week is going to be a lot profitable one together. All right, so let's hear from Demola. Demola, good morning.
Good morning, Leko. How are you doing now?
Very
Thank
fine,
you
my
for the
friend.
analysis on synthetics. Okay, moving forward, let's look at the indices market, what happened over the week, and what we expect for this new week. All right, so starting with US30, we can see that we had a retracement last week due to, NFP news, right? And also the fallout on the Iran and US deal that happened. So we saw a tank in the market. And that also is suggestive of something really interesting, right? Because now we've seen price retrace all to a support level that we expect that price would begin to buy again, right? Because we have like a box pattern here, which is very obvious, right? And then if you want to use the other block, we have another block just right here, which price actually tested, right? And then we expect price to start moving to the upside to resume the buy, this serving as liquidity However, this drop was really massive, was one directional. And so I don't think it might get all the way up to this zone. It can react off this other block and then we continue our sell to the downside. What do I mean? Something like this is what I expect from here to this zone. Or the second one would be if price for any reason violates this. From here to this zone, 1:4, 1:9, any of them, right? Depending on your entry. And so that's what I'm expecting because of this huge drop. And for any reason, price continues to, not price now, sentiment continues to be tilting towards the negative, meaning Iran is saying they're insisting on no deal or some very, very hard conditions to be added to the list. And then we would see the sell even much more during the week, right? Because I expect this decline to happen because typically, the market doesn't move in just one direction. So I expected like this decline to happen. However, if any reason, and then looking on the daily time frame now, we can call this price action like an engulfing candle, right? An engulfing candle, but nonetheless, it doesn't still matter that much if we've not seen what this new one does, right? This new daily candle we have here. The next area of interest that have not been mitigated that much will be this other block from the daily time frame, but that will be subjective, meaning if for any reason these areas gets violated, definitely we know that there will be a retest and then we can sell into this daily order block. What do I mean? On the 4-hour time frame, look at the price action we have, right? This is like a sweep, then a break, right? And then what we are trying to do here is taking this trade into this shoulder. This, you see how everything is aligning, right? This level of take profit aligns with the left shoulder, right? So that even for any reason price wants to start selling off from this zone, we're already out of the market, and then we now join the sell properly to get down into this zone. I hope that makes sense, right? So further area of interest and setup will be sent to the group once it is valid. Okay, so on US 100, NAS 100 on the daily time frame, we've seen that drop, right? We've seen that drop on the daily time frame, reacting off from this other block, and then we expect that we should see more this other block. We should see more push to the upside. Typically this one, this will be my first area where I'm concerned about, right? And the second one will be this zone. So we have price selling off from this other block, right? We have a swept this other level, and then the same thing across board with all of them. This 1:2, and this 1:2 coming almost 1:3, right? Adjusting this TP, yeah, 1:2 and 1:3. I'm not bothered about US 100 that much, unlike US 30, because US 30 is giving more risk to reward than US 100. But then my concern is that the market, not the markets down, both countries, Iran and US, are able to really, really sit down to come and then find a compromise somewhere in the middle. Because the deal, if it had worked out well, I mean, the Iran deal, we would have seen more rally to the upside. Remember last week on US 30, we were looking at another quarter point level, that's 55,000, right, as the new quarter point level. However, now that is not even far from that is not it at all. The next level we might be looking at for, if that deal eventually works out, is 52,000, right? 52,000. And that's if it works out. If it doesn't, then we expect this market to start selling to the downside properly, right? You have a lot of areas that it can mitigate into, right? You have all of these areas. So, but then let's hope for the best. If it works out well, then we can follow them to buy. There's no sentiment attached to it. We are not tied to any position permanently, either bullish or bearish. We just want to see where price action is going to, and then we'll follow through with it. Right, on the 1 hour, these setups becomes very, very clear on US 30 and the rest. Sweep, a break, a lot of inducements that we have, and then we expect price to dance into this zone, right? Giving us take profit into this zone. All right, on S&P 500, I'll be quick. This will be the last one. On S&P 500, remember this level last week, right? We're buying from this level, and then overall target was overall, yeah, right? But then price tapped into this other block, and then you saw the sell-off, right? So, and this like 1:3-ish on this trade instead of 1:4, because we're buying from this other block, right? We're buying from this other block. Overall target was this level, this zone, and then there are two things involved. If you were on the chart, you'll have probably taken profit, but then for me, usually things like this, I just be and then allow the trade to run to take profit. So you'll have bid or you'll have made some money, probably close partial somewhere around here when price got to 1:3, right? But notwithstanding, today's a new day, it's a new week already. So let's see what we have on these guys. On S&P 500, you can see that the market is very, very bullish. This drop is massive, really massive, really, really massive. Dug into this other block, although it has been tested before, but dug into it again, right? So the first level here that we will be sensitive for is this other block on the daily time frame. All right, so let's move to the 4-hour time frame, and then we look for some form of box pattern, right? We have one here, sweep break, although it's not really that clear, right? On the 2-hour time frame, let's see if we can get something really interesting. It has a lot of weeks. It has a lot of weeks. So for that reason, I would just want us to stay out of US 100 and S&P 500 today for this morning, or just wait after New York market opens, right? Once we have enough volume in the market, then we can now decide to say, okay, whether or not we want to take a buy position across board. One of the things to help you get even more good risk to reward is to scale down to 5 minutes. Me now, I'm going to scale down eventually to 5 minutes and then take better entries from that price action, rather than trying to enter from the 1-hour time frame, especially because of the drama happening in the markets now. So I want to get as tight entry as possible, because if you are right on the direction, you are good, you are right. And if you're wrong on the direction, even if you use 100 pips, it's still going to take you out, right? So I want to maximize what's currently happening and then take advantage of it to get good risk to reward ratio in the market. So that'll be all for now in this session. Quickly, we'll be going to the last one for today, which is the commodity market. Abby, how's the market doing over at your end? It's a new week. I believe you have something for us.
Of course I do. Hi, Dimola. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the VFT market color sessions. So we're going to look at the commodity currency market to see the opportunities we have for this week and see how we can make some money from this market today. Starting off with a look at AUD/USD on the H4 time frame. Before I proceed, I know this is different. It's an indicator-based strategy, and it may look a bit jam-packed. I'd like to ask that you take note of the price point I'll be calling during the course of this analysis, so you can put it on your naked chart. That is, if you're not a student of the Forex Bootcamp course, because this is a customized indicator for our students here at the Value Flow Academy. Okay, so looking at AUD/USD on the H4 time frame now, If you remember market color on Friday, we said when we see a confirmatory break of structure below this zone, you see that it's still marked out. Then we'll be looking at AUD/USD possibly giving us more sell opportunities, right? But for everything that goes down, there's going to be a retracement. So now looking at the market, I'm seeing that that structure point has been broken below. In the process of this structure point being broken, there was a big gap that was left. This is a fair value gap that was left, and eventually price should come and fill maybe 50% of it, maybe the entire thing before the sale is continued, right? So I'm looking at this now, and I'm expecting AUD/USD to come and do this. Test this zone, and either continue to sell or maybe even continue to buy if some fundamental news release comes out to change the dynamic of this asset class. But for now, I am more interested in the retracement and then a continuation of these confirmatory break of structure sales that we just saw. What does that mean? So structure point, everything is showing me right now that there's a possibility that this sale may continue if we're following most recent price action. Remember that there is still an overall trend. Looking at this, it's still predominantly to the upside. And the reason I'm having a sell bias is because of what just happened, this recent break of structure here. So it is possible that price could just buy, take out this zone and continue to buy. Anyway, moving to the 1 hour time frame, I'm going to be marking out the 1 hour POIs, the zones I'm watching out for to see if this sell is going to hold at all, right? So price is currently here. This is where my point of interest is. I have about 3 different POIs on AUD/USD 1 hour time frame. POI 1 is 0.71282, POI 2 is 0.71455, and POI 3 is 0.71693. So I'm going to be temporarily buying AUD/USD back into my 1 hour POIs so that I can start to sell if I see confirmations that highlight to me that this sale has resumed. So on the 5-minute time frame, we have even more closer POIs that we're going to be marking out. You can see that there are some zones that have already been marked out into today's price movement. That is yesterday's high, low, day before yesterday's high, and low. So these are the 4 of them now. I'll call out those levels so that you can also, put down your chart. First point of interest is 0.70219. Second point of interest, 0.71234. 0.71402 and 0.71490. These are more zones than specific price points. I'm calling that out just so you have an idea of where to mark out, right? Price is already buying from what we see, and it's already approaching what could be a resistance point. I believe that AUD/USD is going to buy all the way up here. This is going to be this is the strongest POI for me, and that is 0.71213. We're going to say AUD/USD buy. If this zone gets taken out, this momentum indicator, buy in here, give us confirmations, and then we start to look for sell opportunities. Now, because of how small my stop loss is in this case and how wide my take profit is going to be, should it take out this zone, I'm interested in taking a buy of AUD/USD right now from here, targeting this particular level point here. Stop loss is going to be somewhere below this zone. Quick buy, take out my profits, wait for confirmations, and continue to sell this asset class in line with what the H4 confirmatory break of structure is showing. Moving into NZD/USD now on the H4 time frame as well, you see that NZD/USD looked a bit jumbled up for a while. Eventually, price broke above, came back into the range, and then has now broken below. Sunshine has been printed downward, profit taking has occurred, and when this happens, we're expecting a move in the opposite direction. So I'm expecting another buy, similar to what we saw on AUD/USD, right? If you look back here, you'd see that the sunshine was printed, hence why we have even more confirmations that this buy is going to hold. So NZD/USD, I'm expecting a buy into what level precisely? Points of interest. Now, this entire level where these indicators are my zones. I'm just going to give you a range. These are my zone levels, right? So just put on your chart somewhere between 0.58991 and 0.58714. Expecting NZD/USD to buy back into this key POI, and then we'll see if NZD/USD gives us its own confirmatory break of structure to the downside, targeting all of this liquidity laying around here and eventually coming into this major support level that we have on the H4. So I'm going to repeat the same thing I did on AUD/USD and mark out yesterday's high, low, day before yesterday's high, and low. That was quite fast. So mark this out into today's price movement. Also into today's price movement, double confluence around here. Triple confluence around here. And then mark out this low. So these are now the levels I'm watching out for, right? NZUSD is going to buy. Take out this level. This would be the key major resistance that could affect it. This is a multiple support level that could act as resistance in confluence with our trend indicator. So NZUSD could sell from here, hit this, give us confirmation and continue to sell. But if it happens to break through, this is the next major resistance level on or in its path. If it somehow now breaks above these resistance levels we're seeing, then NZUSD may be returning to give us, more buy moves. But I think the NZUSD still is higher probability. So let's watch out to see the confirmations that this market presents today. During Friday's analysis on USD CAD, we drew out the zone saying that USD CAD, if it eventually comes there, it's going to keep buying and eventually come into these major resistance points that we are looking at here. And you can see how price has now traded into that zone. So back to the H4 time frame, what do we see? As USD CAD is a buy, it has now traded into what could serve as a key resistance point. So Sunshine printed, what do we now make of that? We're expecting USD CAD to, start to sell from this zone, temporal sell-offs. And our point of interest for USD CAD would now be POI 1, which is 1.38906, POI 2, 1.38307, and POI 3 is 1.37217. These are now the three major points of interest where we're expecting USD CAD to temporarily set into find support, buy, find support, buy, find support, buy, right? On the 5-minute time frame, marking out same thing we did, the same repetitive pattern across different asset classes. This now becomes my 5-minute point of interest, the high of yesterday, which is basically Friday's market movement, and then the low. Then go ahead to mark out the previous day as well into today's price movement. And the low too. Perfect. So USD CAD sale is giving me, see how many times price came to retest this zone? 1, 2, 3, 4. It has tested again. So USD CAD sale into here, resistance, don't support in sync with our momentum indicator, our pullback indicator, most likely to continue to buy. However, if it takes out this zone, it is coming for the next key level. And the next key level, we basically have an idea of how these POIs work. So this is my bias for this week. For USD CAD, I'm basically saying that it's going to be a temporal sell. Predominant move is what? A buy, as you can see. The major structure point is a buy, expecting temporal sell-offs into key points of interest so we can continue to buy this asset class. The POIs have been drawn out on the charts, so take note of them. And the one thing that will make us know for sure if they are going to hold is if we see confirmatory patterns on 5-minute time frames. Same thing for NZUSD. This is currently a bit mixed. Price can return into this zone and either continue to sell or break above to keep on buying. However, what do we want to see again? Confirmatory patterns. But for now, we know that NZUSD is going to be a temporal buy into the zone hold and a continuous sell. Same thing for AUDUSD as well. Remember, you can always play back this market color session to listen to everything that was said if you're somebody who is totally new to trading and everything is sounding a bit difficult to understand. Better still, you can also enroll for our classes at the Value Flow Academy and let us teach you every single thing you need to know to be able to make sense of this market and also make consistent weekly cash flow from the foreign financial market. With that being said, I believe we have a clear path on how this week is going to be going and we are ready to make some moolah. Okay, thank you so much for joining. My name is Sabiabi. See you next time during our next market color session. Cheers and